Yep. Dwarves. Previously, we continued to settle in, got our basic walls set up. Started to process fuel with intent to eventually start doing the old metalworking. And received a substantial number of migrants, making the fort population noticeably up. In response to that, off camera, well, sorting out professions and so forth, I went about ruling about the several of the suggestions that have occurred. Dwarf naming it. Good, more magnetite. Also, internally settled. First thing I actually want to do with my iron, make more anvils. I can run a couple of forges. Anvils, which were apparently not classified as furniture. Yeah, there we go. Iron anvil. Yeah, give me a good pair of those that I can have yet more smithies running. And then from there proceed to start putting out some equipment. Me fighting Dorfs. Also in response to the rising population of the fortress, I have gone and allocated more dwarves for fighting. We now have 10 dwarfs to 2 squads, one of 6 marked dwarves for, manning walls and shooting folks. Projectile weapons, very powerful, very effective, very reliable. And then I have a melee squad that I put together, largely in response to there being several requests specifically to be melee combat. Have melee combat dwarves labeled. There's still use for a close combat squad, even if you're mostly sitting about in a fortress having a time. There are things that are not particularly good at being shot and would rather be crushed or cut or chopped. Perhaps grabbed and thrown about. We're gonna get a few of those together. Assemble a crew. Production is still a thing. Throw on the hematite, throw on the magnetite. Each of those do I have relative to each other? Let me bring up the stockpile. Let me dare to look upon my list of stones. In a very large and mature fortress, this inventory will get very, very large, and thus cause a lot of problems when you're trying to scroll through. You will hit stone, and it's like, okay, let me count every rock in the fortress. Here I go. You'll have unreasonable numbers of rocks. Get 22 magnetite, though. That is certainly a start to a healthy metal industry. Especially since we have so many more deposits of material that are in sight. And we've struck more. Where else are we taking right now? Right, the new living hall. I suppose this is going to promptly be gutted in order to dig into this iron. This shit, guys, iron. Here it is, all of it. Iron inside of iron, double iron. premium. We managed to recover your tools at least, if not your body. Looks like we did. Let's see. Yeah, is there anything on the partial skeleton? Nope, just covered in water. That's it. It contains only its own dampness. And yes, in anticipation of military things, let's go ahead and put the Marks Dwarves onto active training. So we'll get them mobilized and ready for fighting. And then once I've dug an appropriate living space for the other squad, then I'll go ahead and get them practicing as well. Sort of thing that you want to put closer to your entrance naturally, so you know your dwarves will be ready for fighting. Maybe I could cut them a nice barrack over here. There, or like a step below over here. Yeah, just past the furniture warehouse. Yeah, maybe just in this room. That could just become another barracks. Nothing directly beneath it yet, so I could just dig some stairs. Yeah, that'll do it. Gym, sleeping quarters, a barracks. Yeah, the other fundamental thing that I'll want to go about in metalwork. Just getting more pig. We'll also, of course, need to actually go about creating more apartment space here. Our old dwarven capsule hotel. I could also just as well have that exist down. Employ the third dimension. Bi-directional stairs that I can also further expand on this pattern later. That's the right direction. This will give us rudimentary logic for all of our new population. And apparently our anvils are done, which is good stuff. I believe pick is classified under, yes. Picks are weapons. They function like weirdly shaped spears as far as the mechanics are concerned. They do, you know, point type damage. Poke things with a pick, if you have to. Just swing-wise. And speaking of, let's see, yeah, get a hammer, get a sword, get a mace, and that should be good for many folks. I think a lot of our March Dwarves actually brought their own crossbows with them when they moved in. I'll make a few more just in case. Get a bunch of crossbows and leave them lying around. And an abundance of wooden ammo. We'll eventually switch over to metal ammunition as well for the improved performance. For now, we have an abundance of trees, and I'd like to prioritize putting metal into, you know, armor and knives. Let's see, how many more steps could I do? The old watch wall. Amazing wood-reinforced fortifications. I'll probably cut down those trees on the north edge there, so that I can then actually have architecture instead of nature. We have practical reason to keep a few living trees around inside of the perimeter, because these are fruit-bearing trees. They have things to forage from them. Things we can distill into beverage. Most noble pursuit of all. Let's see, let me just get the old tree cutting designator out. All those down. And that one there is also interfering with the wall. That should do it though, that's all the ones in reach. More coal! Fuel for days. And further beds are called for, naturally. Get all of those into the schedule, seems reasonable. The first child born in the fortress to a soldier. Excellent, good, and wonderful. Behold this baby, the first spawn of Meatwork. Name's Nish Bridgehowl. And both your parents live here. Apparently have a sibling who hasn't moved in. They're probably off on their own, living their own life. Grandparents apparently alive. Multiple uncles. And through them, many cousins and nephews. Worship Dodok. God of the paint of shoving. Associated with law and justice. So that baby is going to be carried around by its mother for the first year of its life or so. Then it will learn to walk and meander around the fortress aimlessly for the next decade. As a happy, healthy waste of space. Right, I want all these tilts. Oh, I'm burrowing into, well, this is the space under where I just put up a capsule. I may have to head for that hill just to find more land that isn't already occupied by just delicious minerals. Something collapsed. That tree was felled. Some part of that fell in a potentially hazardous way. Yep, this could escalate. Depending, where there was a dwarf standing here. Where did they land? Were they somehow vaporized? Wait, no, hello, there's someone here. There's you're a woodcutter. Unconscious but not wounded substantially. Okay, we're good. Everything is fine. Perfectly ordinary tree felling. Nothing to worry about. I've generally been of the opinion that nobles aren't particularly irritating or prone to meddling. They're usually quite manageable. Even the nobles who get rude. Piles of material. What's all that doing there? Wait, that faint possibility that something actually was destroyed? The day that breakable walls are implemented as a thing will be quite the scenario, quite the coup, quite the complete change of the meta. Yeah, it depends on whether your nobles have, like, particularly strange or eclectic tastes for stuff they'll demand. In which case you just end up in a situation where every so often someone will have to be jailed for a bit because they did the crime of not being able to just spontaneously manifest the exact blend of, I don't know, say rose gold. The figurines were not delivered on time. So, generally not a big deal. In particular, with this version, it's much less of a concern. Way back in the olden Dorf versions, like, mood spirals were something that could occur much more often and much more aggressively. Since the 2D Dwarf days, there have been like a couple waves of... There's a tree fragment just up here on its own. What are you doing here? Dispose of that. Yeah, back in the 2D Dwarf days, dwarves were much less stable. Though there are many stories of the mood spirals that would occur. Where since then there have been some layers of, hey, a mood. Nice. Let's see what we get. There have been layers of, like, elaborating on how dwarf attitude and personality work, to the overall effect of making them less fussy as a whole. Alright, so what's going on here? Our mineral artisan has just been struck by some manner of grand inspiration. There's many categories of this. Like, sometimes they've just been inspired, sometimes they've been possessed by a spirit, or so forth. But yeah, what's happened is they're inspired. They have an idea for a really cool thing they want to make, and they're just going to devote all of their attention to doing that. So there we go, they've just seized control of the jeweler shop, which is entirely to be expected. If a dwarf has any of the valid labors which can do this, then they will use their existing skills for it. And then there are just some defaults that anyone else mood having can fall into. And we can see here, now that they have seized the shop, they have a list of materials they want to collect. It could be a very simple one. It's probably just a very nice cutting of a gem they're planning to do. And we have plenty of rough gem around, so they'll be able to satisfy that. If you aren't able to get the necessary materials together for them to do their work, then they will eventually go mad and be unrecoverable. They will inevitably die from having failed to achieve their life's work. Which in this case is going to be very simple. He just grabbed a single adventurine and is just having at it. It's gonna be a pretty simple artifact, whatever comes out of this job. And there's our Mark's Dwarf squad just standing around. What are you up to? What's going on? They're having a lecture. Or no, some of them are just doing exercises. They're all just doing exercises. They've just wandered off into the barracks and are all flexing and working out. You're just joining in there on the individual. Yep. But you just practicing on their own. Sometimes it's individual practice, sometimes dwarfs will get into sparring fights with each other. Sometimes one dwarf will give a lecture and then everyone else will stand around and listen to them. And since I gave them a shooting range, they should be able to just go practice shooting. I might need to explicitly authorize them to use the ammo. The ammunition tab. Yeah, I haven't allocated any ammo to them. There's a budget for 100 wood bolts to be left available for hunters. Let's go ahead and keep them. Ammunition bolts available for trade. Bolts available for use of training, just training. Training, use the wood. And let's see, yeah, it's like 500 ammunition just sitting available at any given time for practice. Combat any material at all. Keep 1,000 bolts in reserve for actual fighting. Or, actually, for 10 guys, yeah, that's 100 bolts each. That's a reasonable reserve of ammunition to keep on hand. Like each unit of material that you put into making ammo gives you back 20 bolts. Alright. Our first artifact. A suitably straightforward and boring introductory artifact. Just a perfectly cut gem. Like, let's see, where's my, which of these? There's the civilization list from which we can keep track of things like our nation. And all of the persons within holding office. All of our various nobility that exists somewhere out there in the world. Ah, there's a baron who's a bone surgeon. And our mighty ranger queen. And we also had contact with the elves, so we know about them. The druids. Just elf. Yeah, let's see, where was that? Alright, there's the rooms and buildings menu. This is something that's new to me as far as what it is for. Seems to just be a review though. Let's see. Stockpiles, zones, military, points and routes. Reports? No, not reports. Capital A? No, L! There we go, capital L. Artifact list, here we are. Riddle Deep. Our perfect adventurine. A gem so good, it had to be encrusted with other, smaller gems. Or actually, I think part of how artifacts work is they always have at least one decoration made of one of the materials that went into them. So that it's a gem decorated with itself. Self-encrusting gem worth a decent number of dwarf buck. And now, if I go and track them down, successfully completing a strange mood of most types causes the skill that was used in them to ascend to legendary status. So we now have an absolute amazing top-level jeweler. Although they became a legend at setting gems rather than cutting gems. That's fine, I can work with it. But we have a way to generate a whole lot of value. Learned the wrong lessons from his legendary crafting work. There's more beds, and right, we had bees. It's time to install those bees. Well, to install further bees. We have places for bees. And some more of those trees got out of the way. Good. Although I'll need to create a new access ramp. Yeah. Fine by me. Alright, hives. We must procure additional bees. First hive is there. It is ready to split. Where part of how bees work are healthy 141,000 bees. That is, an active beehive will generate gel and honeycomb, which you can reach in there and crush all of this in order to get, you know, useful bee-related materials for use. You can get your honey, you can get your wax, get your regal gunk. Or what you can do, once a hive is of a certain size, you can tell folks to split it. That will take half of the bees and migrate them over into a new structure. I'll need some jars. For which I think, yeah, we can be able to make those out of glass? Try to get some sand. I think apparently not yet. I had demand for bags. See if we can get that settled. We have our in with the fabric economy. And hey, the service farms got made. Really? Nothing available. That seems a little weird. I was pretty sure I'd successfully processed some hemp. Among other things. Yeah, pigtail, prickleberry, alfalfa, cabbage, long yam. And 26 hemp seed. Maybe it's on the wrong side of a biome line? By the way, another thing I can get you. Generate some cages that we can establish a bit of security. Already got mechanisms floating around, of which I could always stand to use a few more. Gonna be able to set up some traps here. Alright, we successfully generated cloth, and some of that cloth will shortly be turned into bag. Those bags can then be filled with sand, and the sand can in turn be melted to basic glass. Building a forge out of coke, that sounds questionable to me somehow. A perhaps less than pristine idea. Go ahead and sort all yourselves out into these rooms. Everybody gets a bed by the end of the year, that is the pledge. You'll have somewhere to sleep. In terms of just raw storage space, yeah, you don't need bed for everybody at once. But dwarves also like having property. They enjoy owning things. They will be much happier if they're allowed to just have stuff. Go ahead and get a bunch of these walls smoothed out. On that topic, that's another way that we can go about proving their enjoyment of their dwarf lives. I am planning to remove that ore and just continue tunneling past these rooms. Not going to bother smoothing it. But yes, all the walls, all the floors, we can take them from this rough, jagged appearance that they currently have, and get them nicely detailed. I think I have at least one detailer on staff. Yep. Progress begins. Yeah, once they've been smoothed out, they look like nice constructed walls, and they're considered more valuable. Which is both of worth for the overall appraisal of the size of your fortress, and for the moods of whoever ends up in control of that room. Meanwhile, I'm just gonna head over to my military, what kind of equipment they're supposed to have. They want armor, headgear, legs, hand, and footwear, and some kind of shield. So let us begin with pants. Or, no, let's begin with shoes. Shoes for everyone. Our 4 frontline soldiers will have the finest in metal shoes. Heavy boots of lead. Except, you know, iron. Weird, I thought I'd ordered more tables and chairs. The fort is not presently naked, although many dwarves won't have too much of a problem with not having clothing. They show up with clothes on their backs. We're just only now getting a little bit of a cloth-related industry started. Let's see if I just go ahead and view a rando here. What's your inventory? A pants, you got a shirt, robe, a cloak, nice hat, a hood, a lot of layers of headgear, both gloves and mittens. You dress in layers, I like that. Alright, people actually drink with beverage containers now. The mugs have a purpose. They aren't just souvenirs. Alright, that's what's throwing me off. There's a whole extra layer. Only 2 deep up here, but it's a full 7 down there. This is the version after they solved cats dying of alcohol poisoning from grooming themselves after walking through spilled beer. Right, I didn't activate that squad yet, so you're all just milling about still on civilian work. Right, I need like a post for the ramp to be up against for full use. I could avoid that by switching over to stairs rather than ramps, but I like the flavor of ramps. Especially if you then like iterate on your little support ramp up and then put a ramp here and another post there. End up with this nice big spiral thing cut up around the interior of the wall. All coming along nicely. Quickly checking depot accessibility, and for any trouble spots in our nearby wilderness. There's all those little, these things here. Those are boulders. Those can obstruct wagon movement. Fortunately, it looks like all of this is some nice open ground that they should be able to use reliably. Now, did anyone retrieve that one baby? Yes, good. It's in possession of its mother. All is well. That's a nice chair. And fine chairs. And fine people. I've gone and cut this space. Let's see. Don't have an armor stand. Do have spare beds. Just keep scraping away at all this iron. Ugh, it's melted. No, just as well smooth the capsule hotel. I think that's saltpeter. I'm fine with leaving that sticking around. It doesn't do anything yet, to the best of my knowledge. Barracks with the fair sacks. Sleep gear. For your gear here. Rather, yeah, store your gear in the gym once we have the appropriate anchors to declare a gym. create a wall for the firing range, just not have that open concept. So did I manage to create my sand? Do we have sand somewhere? Any locations yet? Speaking of, I should just go ahead and declare a sand zone right there on the floor. Get me more sand. Definitely have bag. Okay, so we are at our limits for bags, but I may have at least a first set of sand. Let's see. Where would that be categorized in our grand list of everything? Powder. Yes, we have 5 bags of sand. From it, we can produce jug on book bindings. See, maybe vine? We'll go consult the wiki as to what a glass thing I use for storing bee resin is called. Tell me of bees. Jug. Jug is the preferred vessel. Just to confirm, there's something different that one calls a jug when it is made of glass. As many things have different names when they're made of different materials. That looks like it should just be glass jug. Do we even have an assigned glass worker? I guess we'll find out. Well, we must if the furnace was built. unless the glass furnace doesn't require a glazier in order to be built. Possible that slipped through the gaps. In which case, I feel fine with signing you. Have at it. I mean, if we can make the books themselves out of glass, then surely that's a book-related labor. Serving closer still. Wait, is that hive built? No, it's not. Do we somehow not have a proper beekeeper? Where are you going? Also, hold on, what is... Huh. There's just silver over here in plain view. Let's get some of that. Yeah, miners? Can we get on this? Since it's apparently just right there. Some cassiterite. That is tin. Which is not astoundingly valuable, but hey, still good. It'll go into alloys. And keeping a wide variety of materials on hand can be good for satisfying moods, or once we have an aristocracy to demand weird specific goods. Alright, that I can declare a gem for the sacks. This is where you store your stuff. Should now have a functional base for Melee Squad. So, no further. Turnabout there. Get on trading. gold seals. Go ahead and look up and confirm on the wiki vis-a-vis tin. I felt like it had more alloys to go to. Yeah, tin can be used to produce lay pewter, fine pewter, trifle pewter, bronze, and bismuth bronze. And so if we had copper or lead to combine it with. Copper primarily, lead additionally for lay pewter, and additionally bismuth for bismuth bronze. So tin without copper, useless in terms of alloys. Although tin in and of itself is also another metal that things can be made out of. We could just have, you know, tin cookware or furniture. We can devote as much attention as reasonable to going hog on these fine silver nuggets. Yet more migrants arriving. Alright, let's see what you got. Presser, who is a swordsman, and a musician. Yeah, you're a drafty cheesemaker. Did you bring your own sword? By chance? No? You showed up unarmed? Alright. Cheesemaker, who also does dye and cooking. Armorer. And some more children. We'll go ahead and label these folk while they're just right here. You're going straight into the army. I do actually, yeah, I have uses for presses. For crushing wax. For paper, eventually. There's another adult, at least in the back of the paddock here. A farmer who is also an axe dwarf, and record keeper, weirdly enough. Who do you say you know? Alright, you're married and have a child. Alright, that's reducing my suspicions of Dracula's. Somewhat. Or a Dracula, you'll at least be a Drac of War. Alright, just remember that I need to get an axe and sword made. On down to the forge. And I could just as well make a few extra axes. They are tools. These new arrivals just immediately thrown into the squad. Who else you got? Clothier, Mark's Dwarf, the Child, Armor Hammer Dwarf. We're getting a lot of soldiers. Ranger. Pretty straightforward Ranger. Miller and Woodcutter. Another abandoned baby. Someone brought a baby llama. Yeah, I'm willing to draft all the combat-related folk who are showing up here. We're in the process of getting more armed anyway. Okay, that seems to be the end of the wave. Hopefully, soon, whichever of those is the mother of this child will recognize their mistake and circle back around. So many children. This one will at least soon pay off. at least accounted for all known children. Let's hand out the draft notices. Once I have 2 full squads and have them geared up, that should do for military personnel for a fair while. That's bolts. Most regular mortal opponents will just get absolutely liquefied by 10 archers of remote competence. Where was that Dracula? That Dracula suspect. Dracula in waiting. But I sworn I'd label them. Did they already vanish out from under me? This time there is only suspicion of Dracula, no confirmed Dracula. Oh, I already recruited you. You were earlier in the row, right? Good. Like, we're not on proper Dracula watch until somebody shows up dead and exsanguinated. That is the only definitive proof of vampires. I just remain cautious, vigilant. The Dracula could strike at any time. The baby was retrieved. All is well. We have a little official well there. Properly noted. really, we're converging on the point where we have enough material and labor that the hypothetical added extra cost of building more scaffolds and access and layers of things for these big surface constructs is gonna really drop off into being insignificant. We can adopt approaches that, while technically more expensive on paper, are much easier on the interface. Either way, closing down several fronts of this wall. And with all the bricks already arranged outside, the dwarves are reasonably quick on the draw for getting all these things installed. Things that could fly would be able to get over this wall. Absolutely. The list of threats to the fort that can fly are much shorter than the list of threats that just walk. That wall will keep out goblins and bears. A supply of animals would look into a little bit of butchery. Let's see, I got my initial supply of turkey, pounding sheep, and let's see, I got yak, donkey. One lamb we successfully produced. Kill this mule. 2 successful lambs. Yeah, I don't need goose for anything. Water buffalo, no, just a calf. Let it mature, then eat it. Wouldn't mind having yak. A population of yak. Although actually I have sheep. Sheep will satisfy everything that I would want out of yaks. Reasonably sure. Donkey, yeah, that could die. I don't mind the goslings also. Bulls, lambs. Let a bunch of them mature, at least. Make sure they're all properly collected out to the pasture. The ones that are pets can stay with their owners. The turkeys are fine, productive members of the fortress. We are terribly low on drink, but high on plants. Get another still. Yeah, just set that up right out in the food hall. With enough plant throughput, we should be able to just maintain beverage production indefinitely is something that's wanted. And just create yet more ammunition. And there we go, the butchering has properly begun. We will have meats and skins, various organs, and let's see how much. Anything that could be brewed had best be left for brewing. And there is no sort of seed that I want cooked. Definitely no sort of beverage. All meats are valid. Meats go on the table. Turkey is, well, turkey is other. Yeah, our hundreds a bag. No beverages should be converted into meals, although I think that's just the case because we're out of beverage right now. Yeah, and all these folks are apparently on leather working right now. You can write books on leather. So that is a book-related labor. Clearly. Oh, by the way, yeah. 59 total population now. And I've created 47 units of living space. Go ahead and take that up a notch. The depth delving starts once we're comfortably established up here in our little initial fortress. Probably year 3 of play. Then we dive for the cavern. Our lovely rainbow of head-to-head combat specialists. Barely closed off another corner. And likewise down here. Closer and closer still. Our Leatherworks exists, from which I'm going to go ahead and generate some suits of leather armor for our march dwarves. That becomes reasonable. Armor, headwear, legwear, a glove, a boot. I can at least make sure that they have appropriately wrapped torso. You were not supposed to choose your own melee weapon. You were supposed to definitely get reassigned to actually use a hammer. Any hammer you'd like, but make it a hammer. yeah, one of the grand mechanical absurdities of the game is that all creatures take up a single tile, regardless of how large or small they're actually supposed to be in terms of the rest of the mechanics. They'll interact with things as though they were the appropriate size. Like a whale is gigantic and be able to deal immense crushing damage if it just flops over onto something. But it's still just one square of whale. Yeah, y'all supposed to be training all the time. And it seems like they are. I suppose I'm at the point where I should start using the job manager. Where once your fort is even remotely of size, you have this option for you can just go to a big old list of all of the things that you could do anywhere, and it's a searchable list. You can just hunt down a kind of thing you want, and an amount of it that you want made. And after you have the appropriate management dwarf go sit in their office and stamp some imaginary paperwork, being our manager, then those orders will automatically get assigned out to all relevant facilities elsewhere in the fortress. In fact, I'm going to use that to override my auto-repeating demand for tables, and, or for doors, and for... and just create some large but finite numeric orders. There we go. Drink stockpile is being restored. And actually, how is the metal supply now? 94 iron. Good. The smelting has been running smoothly. I was worried that I might overextend and end up just bouncing a bunch of jobs. Let's... Iron Greaves. Just get those all thrown into the base. Most metalwork stuff costs multiple bars in order to make, and I'd have to go and, like, look things up to remind myself exactly how many materials all your various bits of armor cost. Probably around, like, 10 or 12 bars of material for a full suit of decent armor. I could go and check. Let's see, there's also a bunch of fine points for like how much coverage of which parts of the body all the different armor types give you. And it's possible to have people dress in multiple layers of armor. You could have a set of leather clothing lying underneath a set of metal armor. One of the commonly recommended improvised armor sets, armor in like broad, goofy quotation marks, is to just tell your soldiers to wear 20 coats. Just wrap yourself in dresses, robes, and cloaks in enough layers that the raw thickness of the cloth added up gives you some degree of protection. Across the entire body, because it's all like loose, robish clothing. There'll be a lot of equipment mismatching. Alerts as people go out trying to find the gear that I'm slowly building for them. Our next mood. Sadly, this is, for many purposes, the worst mood since you don't learn anything from having been possessed. Still, we're gonna get some sort of nice craft work out of that. We'll find out. Or we might get our... Oh! A thief. A goblin snatcher. Let's quickly call up the most basic of military commands. We just directly hand orders to either go to a place or attack a target entity. That gobbo. Ooh, let's see, what do you even have? Yeah, you got child stealing sack. Just wearing leather and fur clothing. Of a weapon. No, he appears to be unarmed. Well, good luck. And meanwhile, merchandisers claiming that shop. What do you want? Stone, leather. So probably just a stone and a leather. It's hard to tell because sometimes they'll like have more than one of a thing they want, and so it'll just loiter on one prompt for a while. You have to kind of look at it for a while to see where it loops. Let's see how long it takes for the soldiers to bubble up out of the training halls and deal with this goblin. Already shots fired. Good. Yep, here we go. There's already a couple marked dwarves pouring out. And one of our melee combatants with child in hand. Dwarven parenting. Mace in one hand, baby in the other. To war. And a couple of dogs are chasing it down too. Good, they aren't even designated fight dogs. They're just being helpful. They're just good dogs. No hits yet, but we've definitely got them on the ropes. The dogs have them surrounded. Mark's dwarves are already closing in. That looks like blood. Yep, somebody make disarm. And our own units remain uninjured. This crime is going quite horribly for this poor little goblin. about to get shredded. Yeah, he managed to elude them, only to run right into another Mark's Dwarf and swordsman closing in on you. Do you have your sword? You have a hat. Yes, there you go. You have a regular quality iron short sword. Good. Mark's Dwarves land another hit, this time in the head. Good, your days are numbered. Fine, streak of blood going everywhere. No kidding, you're tired. The hounds. The hounds are closing in. Let's... where do I go to follow? Yes, let's just latch onto this goblin. Will he make it to the border? Maybe. This is the edge of the map. He might escape. Alright, he managed to abscond. After taking a bolt to the head. Good work, army. Or, actually, wait, did get turned around? Did something instead get the drop on it? Oh, you're out here to retrieve the dog. Oh, you are a spear dwarf. Maybe I should draft you as well. Alright, I think the chase is over. Although they're still going. Is there something else out here? Oh, apparently he didn't make the run for it off that edge and instead went north. Are you really not evading us? Oh, certainly evading, but... okay, maybe this time he's gone. Hurted by capybara? How did you piss off the capybaras somehow? Alright, whatever occurred, the dust is settled. And yeah, once I feel that they're reasonably well drilled, I'm gonna build them like a little guard tower over the fence to mill about in. I could even put the right necessary furniture in it to make it a training lounge. Give them some nice facilities. Anyway, I was in the process of trying to look up how much material it would cost to do metal armor. And good, our artifact is successfully starting. Mysterious construction of hematite, magnetite, and donkey leather. Something made of iron ore. I guess, yeah, a capybara got startled during the during the thievery had to be put down. And the drink stockpile is restored. And it sounds like we've managed to run low on regular rocks again. We have been lax in our tunneling. Caravan from Ilgum Tomas. I suppose it is autumn. The homeland are arriving. Alright, let's get some exports ready. Just grab that one stray mug and bring it out. Box of tools. What are these categories with the mechanisms be under? Because we do have a bunch of gears sitting around, and gears are pretty valuable. Piling on them nuggets. Oh wait, yes, I do have a search tool. Yeah, bring on the gears. We can always grind more. Hollowing out this hill. That's where we'll find our rocks. Just preemptively page the broker. Yeah, there we go. Here's the good business. And our new artifact, a hematite crown. Musar Zuglar, the Knowing Ship. Encrusted with hematite. Adorned with hanging rings and menacing spikes. Also made of hematite. 39,000 Dorf buck. That alone is worth a not insubstantial fraction of our fort value. Go ahead and set up more smelters. We evidently bring in enough fuel and other mineral material. Just keep running repeated orders for processing stuff. Yeah, wagons are unloading. Doc is asleep. Our goods are in place, just gotta wait for the merchant to wake up. Business meetings. Alright, news. Post Ring was conquered by the Rock of Branding. Likewise, Shoot Race was conquered by the Rock of Branding. Hong Soiled, also conquered by the Rock of Branding. And Ono Playark, the new mayor of the Room of Chewing. Yeah, as I suspected when the big migrant waves started showing up weirdly, those are probably some refugees from those places that got knocked over. What would I request of merchants? Once again, bring leather. Everything you got. And next year they are interested in buying spears, axes, rings and crowns, plants and shoes. Good meeting, liaison. Now about the sales. Yeah, go trade to the depot. Get out of here, Gumby. Alright, trade can begin. Mug. Not the hive. Not this honeycomb that we extracted, not at all, no. We have to do things with those first. Killing bugs. Bugs, figurines, crowns. It's made of rock or muscle. Yeah, I have all these beehives, why couldn't I install them? Not my glass jugs, those are being reserved for things. And there's the mechanisms. Pretty good value multiplier. Alright, so now we go fishing. What do you got? Play home. A couple of rocks of marble, we'll take those. Those I could create a tiny handful of steel. Flasks, cages, some animals. I'm not really interested in animal imports right now. Barrels and things in barrels. Most part, yeah, let's skip ahead and see if we can find a pile of leather. There we go. Here's boxes of leather. Give me this. This is what I am after. Give me all the goat skin you got. Giant hamster leather? Yes, yes please. All of your finest, cheapest leathers. Warthog, stork. Tiger, somehow less expensive than some of the other animals there. Oh yeah, we gotta find our blood. We ordered blood, and we should make use of the blood that we had them bring. Yeah, caravans can get you a whole bunch of leather. That's what happens when you request every type of leather known to your civilization. Let's see. Right, this is armor. Cheetah man blood, yes, this is something I ordered. I think this is the dingo blood. Yes, there's the dingo blood. Very good. As requested, delivered. The termite ichor, bee venom, gremlin tears, perfect. 2 barrels of gremlin tears. And all this leather, good stuff. Full of quivers, full of armor suits. Everything our archery team needs. Ideally, when you're doing a big imported material like this, you prioritize the things that you know are cheap. It's a hippo. I think that'll do. We'll be able to make our own metal ammo. Otherwise, I think things are looking pretty good. Yes, actual gremlin tears were requested. That's not the name of a mixed drink or something. It is a barrel of tears. Yeah, I'm happy with this, and that probably a decent profit margin. Let's see. Alright, this is a good addition to the trade mechanic. This was not a thing way back when I last majorly played Dwarf Fortress. I had offered slightly less than they want. They would reconsider for the horns, the jug, some pants. Yeah, I think that's reasonable. That's worthwhile. And none of that's irreplaceable or currently scarce. Acceptable. Good trade. Now we have leather forever. Backpacks, quivers, and hats, or 10 armor, 10 hats, boot. Shields. Glove and mitten look to be the only handwear. And that is 80 leather worth of stuff. That's a good amount to get started with. Much of our metal armor is getting made. Good. There we go, the digging resumes. The regular stone will be generated. Dogs, stoned by bees. Get 20 gears onto the old backlog of stuff to make. Slowly but surely continue to close off. Just go get a bunch of miscellaneous animal byproduct crafts queued up. Apparently we have some amount of ivory and tooth and so forth. Mostly fish residue. We generate a lot of fish residue. No bone. I could make bone ammo in particular. That's my main thing I'd want to do with bulk bone. Yeah, bone ammo. And we can see by the bits of debris there that marksmanship practice has happened. adding things to the dining hall. And which of these tables is it even rooted in? There we go. There. All of that is now officially the mess. Food zone. Redeclared. What a healthy field of lumber. Gauntlets should go over top of mittens. Armor layering system. Whoever our leather worker is, they're going to be busy for some time. All these nice doors we have. Start installing them wherever. Everybody gets doors. Or limited definitions of everybody. Lock-up capsule apartment gets a door. Try to create some slurry. I think we have some plant that can become paper. All of our fibrous, thread-bearing plants should be paper compatible. I don't plan to involve any mods. Regular old dwarf already has enough shenanigan going on for my taste. Yep, still need more bags. Get me 30 bags. Let's see, how's the military doing for sorting out its equipment needs? Will my archers at least have their weapon? Good. Supplies. Yeah, everyone's permitted to carry food and drink. Yep, you have your authorized ammunition supplies. Why is there this vacancy? Who fell out of the squad? It's otherwise good to see everybody getting equipped. We have a few suits of body armor that are missing. We have two suits missing. Torso armor. Someone was supposed to be in this squad and left. One of you is supposed to be a fighter. Yeah, you're properly drafted. You're one of our hammerers. Who is missing from this? Audio, mace ball, cannon feeder, tactical Dracula, Carson slicer, plow hammer. mysterious. Is there a creature of ours we can't reach? Oh, the Grab Lord died. What did you die of? Where's your corpse? Now we need a slab. Slab in a coffin. Since hopefully we have a body. Designated a corpse pile. You end up. That's Zilman. Give me a last known location. More migrants. Soldier, metalsmith, and poet, and philosopher. "122 years young." And a farmer who's a spirit dwarf. Child. It's a pretty healthy gaggles of adults. And that looks like a complete wave. What do we got? Armorer, who is also a wrestler. Those two are going straight into the melee squad. An adequate gem cutter, no other notable skills. Once a fort is past a certain size and level of activity, you do need dedicated haulers to keep things running efficiently. Woodcrafter, fishery worker. We've been in need of a new miner. Probably two. let's see, farmer, potash maker. Only one new child. Yeah, you're definitely better off as a spear dwarf. Potash maker, and just potash maker. It will work the fields. Oh wait, I just realized a very important... Sort that out after I do the equipment management here. Yep, Richmond inherits the old equipment for that slot. Do not individual choice of weapon. Confirm, use a spear, that's what you're for. Don't want answers as to how the other punchman died in the first place. At least have a slab ready to be carved for them. It will perhaps reveal some sort of secrets. Promote that to the top level. No, that's not where that shirt was. Cancel. The liaison's just hanging around, having a time. Okay, so we've yet to designate an official location. Happens by way of things like this. Okay. I do intend to dig into the location mechanics. Those are a big standout new thing. Temples and caverns and librams. And by hollowing out this mountain that has a decent view of just the area in front of the surface fort, we end up creating a nice defensive position to work with. If I just eventually smooth out these walls and carve archery holes in them. We have a nice way to take shots at anyone who's standing around the field. Right, hammer in the morning. Hammer in the evening. Okay, no one has finished the slab. Or if the slab is finished, it has not been properly stored yet. Ever enough bins. Alright, tell me, stockpile screen. Do we have slab? We allegedly have one slab. It exists, it's just probably still being hauled somewhere. Have the coffin, I can at least... Yes, the coffin exists. But now I just need to decide somewhere to do a burial. There, just create a little burial grid. A small tomb for known soldiers. Lab status, if you please. Where is this lab? It's somewhere. Can't zoom to it. Who holds this lab hostage? Just flexing in the doorway. Nobody gets into the firing range, unless they can best you at the contests of strength. The wall was now, and has always been, nearer to completion than ever before. A second child. Child of art. Two layers should be quite good for the wall. Like, the first layer is enough to, like, cut line of sight and block weapons fire. The second layer is there as insurance against people climbing or leaping over a one-tile wide wall. Yeah, right, of course. This is under the river. That's fine. Keep going. This is fine. Continue to dig. And importantly, get this coffin installed. Do use for burial. If we have a corpse, get it in there. Yes, Zolban... Oh, no, not Zolban. Fine. Zolban gets a tomb. I guess he died first. He has priority. And the other coffin at least is installed. Or a citizen. Yeah, there we go. The Baron now has a tomb. That unrotten fish notification, that's... Someone was doing fish processing and just ran out of unprocessed fish. There, that's the last designation that needs to be thrown down. Everything is fine. Alright, so we have places to put the bodies if we ever discover where the bodies wound up. We're making another slab. A damn fine slab. Someone just put words on the slab. Keep a few spares to prevent this from happening in the future. Maybe a dozen slabs. And we'll just continue making work in order to generate the necessary stone for said slabs. From earlier versions, I'm accustomed to just having never-ending, bottomless quantities of stone and no idea what to do with them all. Like dangerous, lag-inducing amounts of stone. But that was toned down a little. Stone-consuming reflexes, like give me a million bricks, or every possible mug. No longer really necessary. Instead can leave you a little light on stone. If you're not also aggressively striking the earth. Needs hive. I have hives. Where are my damn hives? setting up a nice little grid of traps. Perpetual orders. That I overlooked that completely while dipping in here. That's also new, and also a thing often wanted. Good. Place an order for all of the things. Right, it looks like the slab managed to occur. Died of thirst. How'd that happen? I actually might hazard a guess. What could have gone wrong is if you were injured in a training accident, and then my Dorfs were foolish about retrieving him and throwing him in a hospital and giving him a broken... Or maybe he got trapped somewhere. Somehow got isolated. How that would happen, I'm not sure. I mean, did we end up with a body? Did anything go in his coffin? As far as I know, we have not yet retrieved the corpse. Maybe we never found the remains. Out there, somewhere. Another segment nearly closed. Who left? Don't leave this unattended. That is still a baby. Actually, no. Who are your parents? Your mother is in the army, and that's no excuse. This child is just being allowed to wander, rolling around. Give another round and chipping away at this silver. I suppose I should go about creating some iron furniture. train my non-military smith skills. That we'll be able to get the most for our value when we go about forging things out of that silver. Let's see, what iron constructs could I create here? Doors, gates, sarcophagi, cabinets. Make some chains. And iron chains. Nothing disposable. Definitely want reusable, whatever I make out of iron. Buckets. Iron cages. Yeah, just get the rest of those up and running. At least the ones that are finished being built. All the ones that exist, have them ready to go. Finally down to our last slice of the world. Just one more corner. All them gears. This is leaves falling, by the way. So these bursts of colored haze. There are other biomes where you might expect blood and flesh to just rain from the sky, probably still alive and screaming, full of teeth and anger. We've settled in a nice regular forest. where you just get leaves, not blood. In some parts of the world, the rain makes the dead rise again and hunger for flesh. Here, it just makes things wet. After retiring this fort, or otherwise bringing it to a conclusion, may further dwarf cast in an evil biome. Let's cause attraction bench. I'd like to have that tool on hand for when relevant injuries occur. There we go. Once all those are properly loaded and armed, that grid of cage traps will give us a nice layer of passive defense around the door, especially against crafty, sneaky things. Oh, river's freezing. We're gonna have another chance to recover Zolban. Remember, well, we know exactly where Zolban is. It's the other casualty who is a mystery. No idea where our Grab Lord wound up. Alright, we'll have change shortly. That's a missing component. And I think I can... yeah, let's remove the demand to keep pouring water down that well. Liaison just meandering around. Gonna have all kinds of chains. We've managed to produce a whole bunch of meals. Good. It was mostly meant as a way to preserve our supply of meats that were created during the couple of butcherings. Expand the furniture warehouse. Yeah, things will keep getting stung by bees. We'll continue to not mind. Not at all. Alright, there, finally, my hives are accessible, behaving themselves. Let us escalate the supply of bees. $115,000 additional live bees. 16 over there. There, we now have traction dash. Set and bones. Category of thing is it's just its own. There, into the hospital. One granite bench. Alright, I think I've decided where I will start the descent when it is time. That time is getting very soon. It's part of our next year, and probably next session goal will be to start moving into the deep. Set up some sort of defensible underground position here, at the bottom of our little dip between the river. Under the river, between the two fort halves, we'll carve out some little, under fortress space, and then all travel farther down is going to go through that checkpoint. Once we've hollowed out this bubble of magnetite, we can make that a bit of a killing field, and then dig deeper beyond its walls. Definitely have demand for more furnace operators. People full-time running the ore. Got plenty of stuff that needs smelting. And river has frozen over point of interest. Once more! This time we rescue Zolban for sure. Recover. This time, Zolban. There he is. And I think already some clever hauler has swooped in and retrieved the body. That may have just caught sight of it there. Be the appropriate direction to be depositing it. Coffin does not yet contain his corpse. Who knows, though? Perhaps soon. Yeah, there it is. There we go! Finally, laid to rest. Partial skeleton of Zobin. Still no sign of the Grab Lord. Go ahead and follow out more farm space as well. Perfectly good dirt here. Create all kinds of farm. Total population now a healthy 67, although 16 of that is children. A hauler's child. Dwarf born of logistics. There, just go ahead and define some stronger load-bearing fields. Mostly I think I'm gonna generate more pigtail, really. We need to generate a lot more cloth. I was hoping to get some of that done with hemp, but apparently we're not being permitted to grow anything on the surface. Maybe our dwarves just don't know how to surface farm. Would be the practical knowledge is simply a mystery to them. We'd have to attract some sort of human migrant. Now the fields on the surface, I've just built them on dirt. really wouldn't need any dampening. Or do they? Just specially off the side? If so, I have ways to deal with this. Oh, will I have ways. Our first glass corkscrew. Well, no, I don't want an infinite number of corkscrews. Or do I? I don't know. When the spring comes, this all thaws out. Wish I could just as well do this with a door. A goose is matured, and the liaison thoughtfully observes a marmot corpse. Now just be very careful about, yes, those are fine. That spot is not, though. aiming to get to the point where I start thinking of this cavern we've created as an outdoor area-ish. This is the threshold that we will form between us and the depths. Well, good. At least my soldiers are getting attached to decent equipment. And if it's not the best thing they could ever carry. Feel good. Speaking of... yeah, much of the leather work is still in progress. We'll need some armor and some boots. We are talking about a pretty extensive deposit of magnetite here. Look at it all. Iron as far as the eye can see. A new mood. An artifact from the forge. From an armor smith who has seized a forge. Oh boy. The good times. logs, metal bars, rock blocks, bone. Okay. We may have used all of our bone. Did have a lot of bone hewn into ammunition. Alright, something must die for the sake of this artifact. Let's pick an animal. Alright, yeah. Eat this horse. This goose. Eat this goat. Full llama, just consume that as well. Give us the bones. Can't be logs. Let's open them up because we have scads of logs. Found a bar and a brick. Slowly but surely, our bees grow in number. Still don't have my corkscrew. Could settle for making one out of wood. Alright, horse is dead. And they're on their way. Bone was what was missing. They will have an order in mind for their ingredients, so when something is missing, they stop at that thing and wait until they're able to find it. And that will get them off to go find a log. This is a standard mood. This is a Fey mood. Fey and secretive are the two ordinary moods. Possessed is the bad, well, the non-productive one, the one that won't give you skill boosts. And then Fell and Macabre are two moods that occur only on particularly rude or pissed off dwarves. The work begins. Using an entire horse skeleton, 2 willow logs. Where in a Macabre mood, the artifact they intend to build will contain parts of, like, a dead sentient creature. They will want a corpse of something that would have been a citizen in order to work with. And in a Fell mood, they're just willing to walk up to somebody and murder them and drag their body into the shop in order to get started. Gals. Owls are up there. They haven't attacked anyone on record. They've just been alarming. Citizens have many concerns about giant owl. There we go, an artifact breastplate. We have a legendary suit of armor. Oil nose. Insert advanced iron, round claystone. Menacing with spikes of horsebone and willow. Again, 14 units of bone. The entire horse. All of its bones went into that armor. And now we have a legendary armorsmith who can just make amazing armor for everyone for so long as they live. For the cost of an ordinary horse. In life it was just an animal, now it is a legend. Who will get to wear the bone mail? Really, I'd probably prefer to just leave it off to the side somewhere. Too important to waste on ordinary soldiers. That's the kind of thing I'd want to foist into the hands of some sort of combat nobility. Oh, I accidentally gave it the wrong kind. Crystal glass is more complicated. That needs other ingredients. Get rid of that. Green glass. Green is the basic glass that just needs any sand. Any of the fancier types of glass require more than sand. Sand and sand refining components. Various catalysts. Alright, we're reaching the far edge of the deposit now. At least on that side, we're hitting the extent of it. Now the wood screw, yeah, that's already done. So I do have the parts for my pump. I would like to have straw from the north. A block, a screw, a length of pipe. I would like lever to be linked to that door over there. looking to start building many sets of giant glass saw blades. A butcher's child. Yeah, out here the thaw starts in late winter. Business as usual. And that pump is ready. Just in time for the water to be restored. If a pump operator anywhere, I can easily declare one. Right, that's technically an engineering job. You need training to operate a pump. Qualifications. That'll do. Just let that undulate around in there. All good and muddy. Then we set it free. Bring the rise. And we've hit a population threshold that's that we've finally had mayoral elections. Now create mayoral accommodations. Pick out a particularly nice bed, table, chair, etc. Items fit for a mayor. Two chests, a cabinet, a weapon rack, and an armor stand. How's that for a start on quality ratings? I just gave you a dining room. Oh, wait, those are both chairs. Never mind. Gonna get this furniture arranging sorted out. As soon as we get that furniture smithing done. Do we even have much silver processed right now? Yes, 24. Adequate number of silver bar. And for better or for worse, silversmithing's underway. I think the raw value, just intrinsic in the metal, is going to do a lot to carry. Bringing up the quality of the runes. This is for the Mary. Need to glitz it up. A little more quality stuff. Make some statues. Painter. There we go. No, not the bags. This might also be like the uncontested lowest part of the fortress right now. Yep, the only thing we've dug on this layer. Break skulls with gold maces. We must first find the gold. They may be waiting for us, deeper in the earth. Alright, the mayor is now satisfied with the quarters. It's the kind of thing that just silver furniture will do for you. These rude owls keep scaring people who go out to the lumberyard. scale back the size of this a bit. Create a bunch of handy hauling work. Child of the bioengineer. And with the mayor comes the authority to start giving mandates like don't export any ballista arrows. Sure thing, you got it. It shall be done, Your Honor. Your will is law. This set of rooms up here intended for when I declare a sheriff. That will be their office and accommodations. Elves. Perhaps this time will be different. Short on bids. Maybe if I just sell them gears. Every damn gear in the mountain. Once I figure out what's missing from my attempts to serve this farm, that will be a healthy field of hemp. Okay, let's try this again. This time, very careful to offer only animal and mineral. Not this time, Gudos. Wise to you. Oh, let's see what they've even brought. Yeah, a bunch of wood equipment. Variety of plants. Not much else. Clear out everything you got. Not even sure what half of these things are, but I'll take them. Hold on. A tame giant dingo. I think that'll do. Not sure how giant the giant dingo is. Ooh, and a peregrine. A falcon. And a giant cougar. Yeah, the thing elf merchants are consistently good about is they will bring weird animals. Caged for your convenience. Alright, I gotta skim back some items. They want a better profit. Fine, I'll skip on these various wood oddities. Really, I'm disappointed that we didn't get a human caravan in any of these years. They're really good for shipping cloth. Humans will have all kinds of cloth. How about this? Good. Good, we did a business. On your way then, elves. Those are some pretty choice animals. There's potentially much that could be done with them. And with that, another year has passed, and change. Progress has been made. We're continuing to grow, we've worked to accommodate, gotta make more lived-ins, more space, expand some agriculture, got metalworking up and running, got some semblance of an army, full 18 Dorf at arms, properly geared and ready for fight. In fact, let's go ahead and just, before we're heading out, flip some iron bolts. Get like 20 packs of those. But yeah, the fort is continuing to develop. We have a healthy, young, surface-level fortress. And next time we will, starting from around here as our point of interface, start to delve deeper into the earth in pursuit of greater riches, greater perils. Big greedy indeed. Break that earth. Dorfs.